Hey guys, welcome to Coaching with Chris. You know what I love? I love talking to coaches. And I'm excited to be able to bring my next guest up, a coach in the mortgage industry. And look, we're professionals. We get paid to do this profession. And if we're getting paid, some of the best professional athletes in the world have some of the best coaches. And I'm excited to be able to bring Christine Beckwith with me today to be able to talk about coaching, the availabilities, why should we do it, and to learn her journey into this crazy mortgage industry. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me.
You know, I know you said, "Hey Chris, just so you know, I'm a coach." And I'm like, "Yes, that's what I want." So how did you get involved in mortgage and then became a coach?
Sure. So I spent 32 years. I'll give you the cliff notes or we'll be here all day. I started as an originator and made my way through central Massachusetts into an area manager position. H&R Block Mortgage would come in and buy my local company that I had been at for 7 years. And I would spend 12 years with them. And I would work my way all the way up to the senior vice president position where I oversaw the entire nation's platform with 1,250 loan originators and 210 branch managers. I actually closed down the entire national mortgage division for H&R Block in '07. I took 50 LOs from my local market and set up a boutique shop. And then I was found by Joe Penabianco, who was a Wall Street mortgage securities bondsman, a young guy in his early 30s, multi-millions of dollars recently made, no mortgage experience, looking for a VP of sales. And he sought me out, flew to Boston from New Jersey, and he would talk me into becoming his national director of real estate and sales for what was then just our two branches. I would spend 12 years with him. We would become Annie Mac Home Mortgage from the previous name, which was Village Capital and Investments. And in 2018, I retired to do 2020 Vision, and I built this consulting firm, which had been a dream of mine for about a decade.
So you got to accomplish your dream.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I really felt like there was a calling in me to teach and train. And I had become weathered, in all honesty, from the corporate, bureaucracy of companies. And I just really desired at this stage in my life to give back and help change education in our industry, because I had done all the coaches, and I have mad respect for all of my coaches today that are competitors with us. I wanted to build a school. I wanted it to be different than somewhat of the traditional, at that point, coaching. I really felt like all the coaches had systems at best, where you learned the system, and whether that was calling 50 realtors a day or making 50 cold calls or whatever it was, I thought we need to have a business school for mortgage and real estate, where people are entrepreneurs and they learn how to build a business. And they learn all facets of that, business acumen and marketing and sales. And so I built that. And, 2020 Vision is vast. We have over 60 employees. We serve the nation. Today, we are the biggest coach in the mortgage industry, with thousands of people in our system. And they're learning from the ground up business acumen. They're getting certified in business coaching. And they have access to dozens of expert coaches. And we work like a college. We have live classrooms going on by semester, and the semesters change, and there's different tracks you can get in. Just like if you were to go to college for one thing or another, you can pick your educational track here. And so it really is very customizable, if you will.
Mm-hmm. I like this. So go back. So you started. You gave us a lot of stuff, by the way. So
That's a lot. I talk fast and try to make a punch.
Yeah. So 2020 started in 18.
Yes. Yeah. It was born in '06 and came to life in 18. Yes.
And you got 60 employees today. I'm assuming, how many of them are actually the coaches helping you? Because obviously you can't coach everyone.
Yeah.
And everyone probably has an expertise in certain areas. So how many coaches do you have?
Yeah. So we have 24 executive coaches in that 60 count.
Hmm.
We have another 60 rotating guest coaches that are 1099 guest coaches that come in that have niche experience. And so we kind of coach in three realms. We call ourselves the Walt Disney World of coaching because it's kind of like if you get we do all access passes, and the depth of your ability to take things off our menu of services depends on the wristband you're wearing when you enter the park, if you will, kind of like a gym membership. And so our first band that you get is robust. You're going to get your own personal learning dashboard with many levels of certification. There is social media content curation in there. There's digital libraries with materials that can be downloaded. It acts as a teaching module for you to teach realtor partners if you're a loan originator or vice versa. It works both ways. So you can like play modules in public. Once you're
Hmm.
certified, we let it be a teacher. The second realm is the live classroom. And so we have an app and we have like dozens of tracks. So if you understand that if you're a loan originator, you go through the orientation and you answer a bunch of questions, and then we put you on the track that you belong in so that you're in rooms with like people that are working on like levels. That includes production differentiators in the education and all of those things. Because I really felt like in my previous life when I did other systems, I was just getting put into a box with everybody else and we were all learning the same thing. And I felt like it was insulting on some levels to my intellect or my level. It was lacking, like it just was lacking that intuition of like, where are you? And that's why today we have executive level people that are here as well. The third realm is that executive one-on-one coaching. You're able to plug in, and we work off a units base. So depending on your band, you get so many units a month of one-on-one coaching. We write the checks to the consultants and it's just taken out of the tuition level. If you don't use them, you have credits and you can actually use the credits in different ways. So if you don't use your one-on-one, but say you like one of the sales classes and you want it brought to your 100 LOs that aren't on our system, you can use a credit that way and rent a group coach.
Nice.
It's really quite cool. So, yeah.
That is so different. I've never heard anyone explain their coaching program like Disney World, but you made me visualize going to Disney World with my family, which is work and so is coaching. Um, what inspired you to that piece? Was it that you were getting coached before, but then they weren't really targeting what you wanted to work on at that time, and they were targeting more with just what they wanted? Or like, what led you to this type of design?
Yeah, so with H&R Block for the 12 years I was there and with Andy Mack the 12 years I was there, we both companies grew up ground up. So I had that, privilege of watching a company scale to a national level. And I watched how they built business development, marketing, and training in those firms. And I was at those boardroom tables with those decisions. So I knew a lot coming into consulting about the needs of scaling and the needs of individual entrepreneurs. And I kind of knew what was lacking that I couldn't find when I was looking around out there for things for my businesses. When I built 2020 Vision, I imagined day one, I built a 5-year business plan. We're entering year 5 right now. November 1st was our 5th year. And our goal was to be synonymous with education. And so when I started and I opened the doors on my image and my name because I had had 5,000 originators work for me in my lifetime. And I thought, I can get the company off the ground with the people that no longer work with me that might want to hire me again. And that's exactly what happened. That first year, I had a lot of people that I had worked with for 32 years come over and buy coaching, but I knew that wasn't a sustainable model. I mean, I would even argue Tony Robbins is going to have a hard time selling Tony Robbins one day. And I have always said from day one, I want to build a brand that's synonymous with education. And one day I'm going to sell the company. And hopefully its assets will be able to go because it isn't the Christine Beckwith show, but it's, 2020 Vision for Success coaching. So to answer you, I think it was just listening to the needs of our industry and who hires coaching. We are for the little guy. Like you can hire us as a single originator and as an individual broker owner or a branch manager in a retail shop. But we really are easy to plug in too. If you're a national company and you have 700 originators, we can handle that. And so that's why I just really felt like we would lose people that couldn't find what they're looking for. Some of the really nichey things that we do is we have health and wellness, we have an on deck grief counselor, we do financial forensics, accounting. So if you are trying to build a pro forma for your business and you need, numeric illustration through consideration of, production and, assumptive historical what you've done and then what you're going to do so that we're giving some sort of predictive forecasting, which companies need.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to do that type of work for companies using any sets of reporting that they provide us from any type of system. And then we can actually apply accountability to those systems. So if you're trying to get 200 originators to do 2 funded units a month more, we can not only give you the actual plan written and illustrated, we can apply the accountability coaches to it and then put the people in the classroom to drive it to that number.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. How'd you come up with the name?
That's funny. I literally, I've written 5 books and my first book was called Wise Eyes See Your Way to Success.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought sitting on the beach after H&R Block closed its doors, and I was very sad and I'd put myself out of work. I wanted to capture what I thought had helped me be successful in the prior 12 years. I wanted to find the silver lining in the sad story. And I thought, what did I take away? Well, look at how much I advanced. Look at the things I accomplished. And how did I do those things if someone were to ask? And I think I just had this knack for seeing things and seeing my way to things, successfully. And so that's where I came up with Wise Eyes. And so when I started to picture myself doing consulting, I thought, what would I call it? And so one led to the other. It's kind of funny, and now I'll give you my inside joke, but now everyone will know that watches your show. I'm blind as a bat. And so what's really funny is that I wear these glasses and they're not for, cosmetic reasons. I really can't see, but my intuition is I think on point. And so, yeah. Yep.
Let's go to coaching. Let's go to students. I mean, the market stuff. And,
Yes.
I said that, one of the things is that you kind of see 2 originators out there. You see a lot of originators really wanting to work hard and be able to take advantage of the current market and the next market that's coming. And you have a lot that like go in the closet.
Yeah.
And they go in the closet and they hang out and they say, I'll come out when it's good. And those are the ones that don't make it. Why, if an originator doesn't have a ton of extra money, but why do they need your program?
Mm-hmm. I really think loan originators in the US right now and for the last couple of years have been trying to do things harder and longer the way they've always done them. I think they're starting to wake up to the fact that there's got to be a different way to fish. We understand the economic history of the mortgage industry. So in November of 21, when the rates came up for the first time and everybody was in disbelief and kind of waiting for the next 6 months for them to come back down, we already were at work with understanding the common client objections that you see with raising your interest rate. And even though the consumer at large in Q4 21 and all of 22 weren't ready for the conversation, today we know that the average homeowner is curing to the 32, 36 month range going into 24, which is about the mark historically for 40 years where homeowners are going to refi. And so they're getting used to this current rate environment, and the pain is growing because their cash is dwindling and their debt is rising.
Right.
And so loan officers have lacked, in my opinion, and I've been very bold. I was the opening speaker for the IMB for MBA in January. Joe Penabianco, the CEO at Annie Mac, is the chair this year. And he brought me in to speak, which is, such a compliment
Mm-hmm.
to the entire nation's MBA. And I said, our companies are going to fall at the hands of loan originators this year that can't convince homeowners to take a higher interest rate because they themselves don't believe there's a benefit in doing so. Even veteran loan officers themselves would sit on some of those low interest rates before they really step back and take a full financial look at the pain of the entire financial picture. And so we're there now. The pain has risen to the point where loan officers are hearing what we're saying. Our loan officers here at 2020 have been doing some of the mechanics that, there's like revolutionary like stuff being said in the industry that I've been saying for like 2 years. And I don't want to sound egotistical, like I said it 2 years ago or I said it first. I just want to say, like, if you understand economics, another wrongdoing that's happening is loan officers think that this market is like '07 and '08 because we've told war stories and we're back in wartime again. And so it's easy to compare the two markets. That market had moderate to low deficiency and delinquency that rose suddenly. It had a surplus of inventory, a lack of demand. And because of that situation, we had a no equity position. And equity is a key ingredient in baking the mortgage cake. And so where we are today is we have a lot of equity, okay? And we have unprecedented debt as a nation. And so that means we have 3/4 of the ingredients. We can bake the cake. We have to get the loan officers to understand economics. So why do they need us? Because we understand economics and we understand strategy. We also think there's a different way to approach the real estate side of things and fish for helpful people that are wanting to sell their homes and nurture sales where you pick up the buy side of them buying a new home. There's a whole walk in the buy high, sell high area of economics that you have to get into that discussion, because the objection where they don't want to do it is they don't want to buy high. But you've got to be able to take that and sit with it and dissect it economically speaking and make them understand why that's a bad idea to wait for the buying to drop. You're also losing your equitable position in obtaining a greater financial loan. But our loan officers don't understand that. And so we're here to teach that.
I love that. I would love to hear a success story of, one of your students that you've brought along through that journey. And by the way, I was telling my loan officers the other day, look, there's catch and release and there's catch. And I feel like a lot of loan officers are catching and releasing their leads and they're throwing it back out thinking they're just going to easily catch that same fish again. And the chances of you catching that fish again is very, very, very small. And it's so competitive out there. And by the way, isn't sales overcoming objection anyway?
Yeah.
And we got spoiled in COVID. We didn't overcome nothing. We just had to pick up the phone. And I think that
Yes.
your coaching program does a good job with both of those, of catching and keeping that lead and also overcoming objections. But give us a success story of maybe one or two of your students that you've brought through this journey and what they're doing today.
Yeah. I think the most profound one, and I like to tie, something with a testimonial to actual results. I'm a very much like show me, not tell me person, even though I do a
Yeah.
ton of talking. I really believe in leading with, this is what I am capable of, and let that speak for yourself. My career, I feel like, is the example of that. I really just, I was a competitor as a loan originator and et cetera. And so I love watching people compete. I had a woman who was an AE, and during the fall of the last 3 years, she was actually taken from a position that she was in where she had a base salary and she had a title, and she was put into the AE seat. And here we are in this declining market. And she was doing consulting, and I do lend myself 6 hours a week to be available for anybody that wants to speak with me within the database of clients that we have here. And she grabbed me, and we sat and we talked, and she was ready to quit. And from a perspective of everything she had given to this company, and how ungrateful she felt it was, the move that was happening, I was able to say to her, is it personal or is it survival? Do you want to work for a company that knows how to get the ship light enough to go through the storm? Or do you want to work for the company that you're on the boat that sinks? Because one is ignorant and one is strategic, and you're being asked right now and you're being tested, to whether or not you can also give up something in order to be on that ship and be a survivor with them. And how do you think you personally feel if you survived a storm like this and you prevailed? And I said, because how you're feeling is how everybody's feeling. And the sacrifice you're making is the sacrifice that's universally being made. And other people are going to make the decision you're about to make. What makes you different is your ability to persist and resist the natural feelings you have to quit. And what could be your upside? Well, I want to tell you, she stayed in the AE position. Last month, she closed $48 million. The previous month to that, $34 million. She's on pace this next month to do about $25 million, but sustaining at that very, very high level.
Doing great.
Because of the money she's made, she's already banked her 2 teenage kids' college tuition. She feels indebted to me for the conversation. And I'm grateful that she came to me to ask for that advice. So, I would just say to everybody that's going to hear this podcast, first of all, I compliment you for putting media out that we all desperately need to have right now. I don't know you well, but I will pay attention and pay more close attention. I'm flattered to be someone that you chose to have as a guest here. I think it's so important for Windsor and companies to put their lighthouses up and say, we're one of the places that have the answers. We're going to go find the answers, and we're going to have solutions and that sort of thing. And so I just want to be that. I want to be that, for people. I want them to make good choices for themselves. And I don't want to see people quit. You gave 2 loan officers examples. We've lost so many loan officers because it's hard, but it's not impossible.
Right.
It's just that it's hard,
Yes. Yeah, that's totally different. I love it. I mean, there was a point in my life, where I wanted to quit, and it became super foggy, and I became lost. And it was a coach like you that changed my life. And that's why I've always believed in coaching. I've always believed I got to have someone looking outside in at me, because I'm not very good at looking outside in. And you're like, no, you're going the wrong way. Or no, you're going this way. Or what are you doing? And sometimes I need slapped around a little bit to get me corrected. And listening to you and listening to that story of how much you cared, you took the time to be able to actually say the truth. But you let her make her own decision. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that. And in the end, thank gosh, she made the right decision. And look at the success that she has gotten today. And no telling what she'll do in 24. And look what the financial benefit she did. I mean, I got called out one time, and they said, why are you doing this? And I said, oh, for my family. And they says, you're a liar. You're doing it for you. And I go, okay, maybe.
Right.
But
right.
I was being selfish, and I was coming home and everybody was getting the second best of me, not the first best of me. And I didn't have good balance. And so that's why I believe in coaching. So walk me through this real quick.
Sure.
If I want to be coached, I'm originator listening to this today. You have different levels. What's the cost? How do I reach out? How do I get connected? Because I believe it. If you're an originator and you're listening to this and you're not getting coached and you're thinking about quitting, look, don't give up. It is going to get brighter. It is hard right now, for sure, but not impossible. I'm stealing that from you. How do I get connected with you?
Yeah. Well, first I want to say the story that you just said means that you have the inclination to be a competitor and a pro athlete. So at 54 years old, I weightlift, I run, I do things athletically. I went to college for sports medicine and nutrition, and I've applied kind of that athleticism to what I do. And so I have that natural competitiveness and to get you to push back. That's where the resistance point is. That's where the breakthrough point is. So the bottom line is whether you want to be a pro athlete or not. I see athletes all the time. I see athletes with attitudes all the time. You can imagine being in the trenches and being an SVP. I had many good and bad actors in my 24 years. And some people never, they thought coaching was for Kool-Aid drinking, whatever. And I thought the best of the best of the best, if you have any sport that you love, whether it's football or it's baseball or any sport, you're going to see that they have special coaches that push them, that also hone their great skills, that keep their great skills, because it is a conditioning thing. So here's the thing. We have, like I said, monthly tuition packages as low as $299 a month. And the $299 a month gives you all access to all digital dashboards and all live classroom. It is, I'm telling you, a giveaway of a great magnitude. That price point 5 years ago was $1,000. Today, because we have so many professionals nationally, we combine all the money, and because I don't want to gouge the industry and I am giving back, we have made a price point that is so easy to not only come in, but sustain. We have 70% of the people that joined us year one still here. They're here because we aren't the thing that's glaring on their P&L as the costly thing that needs unplugging, that doesn't come as value. If you want to come to one 1 hour class, it costs you $500 from the outside in. But if you join at $299 a month, you get up to 12 hours of live classroom a week and then 300 hours in your dashboard. The next level is $599. That's where you have access to the 24 executive one-on-one coaches, and you get 1 full hour or 2 30-minute increments, and you can move around depending on what you want month to month. You can stay with a coach, but you also can do a different one every month if you choose. And then we have $1,000 spot. Those are the individual spots. And then of course we have packages beyond that for companies where the price gets commoditized, because the larger the group, the more we can bring that price point down. And so an email to solutions@visionyoursuccess.net is the way to reach us and set up a discovery call. You don't have to do that. You can go to our website and just plug in and be onboarded if you want. You get a student advisor when you come. And so right away you have kind of a caddy for your golf clubs that are going to help you answer any questions you have, make sure you're have everything. You have a proper orientation to our system because it is vast. And you join a community of like-minded individuals that are here with good attitudes, that are supporting one another. All channels, by the way. People always ask me because they see that we support the brokers. I come from correspondent retail lending. That's been my whole career. I have 1 year in brokering, but we are great for the brokers. So we have brokers here too, but we have rooms for the brokers. We have rooms for the retail lenders. Like I said, we have that all figured out. There's some general places where everybody's allowed to come in, and it's like Switzerland over here. Everybody gets along. Everybody's here to help each other because we're here as human beings, helping each other with our businesses and getting answers. No recruiting, by the way. My competitors do a lot of recruiting out of shops. I'm here to tell you that never happens here. We don't do that. We are here to make the people that come here be more solid in their seat and more dedicated to their marquee and their brand, and make them slow down, just like that testimonial I just shared with you, where I kept her from quitting.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point that I want everybody to, hear is that, a lot of owners discourage people to go to coaching programs because of that recruiting aspect piece. And you start to build trust with a coach, and then some type of recruiting happens because of that trust. And I've always hated that.
It's a problem.
It's a problem, and I totally get it. And I can tell you right now, it sounds like it's a deal breaker for you. And I love that's part of your program. My last question for you is that, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's a great question. I honestly still see myself here, and I hope this company is even bigger than it is today. We just opened a consulting division that has very, very deep consulting packages, and we're going to continue to grow. if you said 7 years or 8 years, I might say you'd find me on a beach somewhere.
All right.
Because I'm getting there, and I do see myself packaging 2020 up for some incredible future leader that will probably take it to an even higher level than I plan to take it. But, we are here trying to make, personal dreams and goals come true in this market, just sitting in places where the conversation is different than what we're seeing out on social media and that sort of thing. So, yeah.
So not the beach yet.
Yeah, that's right.
Favorite beach?
Oh, favorite beach. Oh, God, that's a tough one. I gotta say, I love San Juan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, San Juan has beautiful beaches. I just went to Italy in August, and so of course I saw some incredible beaches there as well. But yeah, I'd say San Juan.
Listen, if you want to get connected to 2020 and you just want to even just inquire what coaching looks like I think that value for, was it 200, 295? That's incredible.
299.
I haven't
Yep.
heard of that. To be able to get your foot in the door, to be able to have some one-on-one conversations. And the one thing I love about your program is that when I know I need something, I can pick a particular coach and set a time to be able to visit. If I want to continue to work on it, I'll just keep picking that same coach. And I feel
Yep.
like your program, you kind of have control of a little bit of where you want to go
You
and
do.
what do you want to work on. And I love that about your program. So make sure you guys reach out. Look, we all need coaches in our life to get us to where we want to go. I'm sure everybody listening has hopes and dreams and big goals for 24, and she wants to help you get there. So thank you I'm honored that you said you'd jump on with me and be able to talk about this.
Absolutely.
And I hope many of our people that are listening today call you, get connected with you, and get a coach, because it could change your life.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye now.